London. A Free Kashmir protest has been banned from taking place outside India House on Diwali after fears were raised about the safety of the building and ability of the unarmed police to hold back thousands of protesters if it went ahead. London Mayor Sadiq Khan had on Friday called for those organising the march on 27 October and those taking part in it to cancel their plans, to prevent a repeat of the unacceptable violence, aggression and hostility from some protesters, at the previous protests on 15 August and 3 September. This followed letters being sent to him by British Indian individuals and organisations asking for it to be called off. Future-born Labour councillor and London Assembly member Naveen Shah wrote that the timing of the march was extremely insensitive and provocative. The High Commission building was left with minus as 1.4 crore worth of damage following the last two protests when it was pelted with eggs, stones and other objects by angry pro-Pakistan protesters. The High Commission of India officials last week formally raised concerns with the Metropolitan Police about the safety and security of the building, as well as the disruption to local businesses, to get the location shifted from its site. A spokesman at the High Commission told TAR on Wednesday, "We have had verbal confirmation from the police that we have got it cancelled, as in they will not be allowed to enter the area around India House. However, the march can still go ahead from Downing Street and end up in Trafalgar Square." On Wednesday, Bob Blackman MP, who represents Harrow East, had asked out PM Boris Johnson during Prime Minister's questions what action he was taking to prevent a repeat of the previous two violent protests. Just 3 weeks ago, pro-Pakistan organisations held violent protests outside the Indian High Commission. This Sunday, are threatening to come again on Diwali, he said in the House of Commons. Johnson replied that Home Secretary Priti Patel would be speaking to the Metropolitan Police. "I deplore demonstrations that end up being intimidating in any way at all. This is a police operational matter. The Home Secretary will be raising it with the police. We must all be clear that violence and intimidation anywhere are wholly unacceptable in this country," he said. I have seen a notice sent to the groups organising the protest which states that Section 14 of the 1986 Public Order Act has been imposed to prevent serious disruption to the community. The route of the procession must go from Parliament Street to Whitehall to Trafalgar Square. Failure to adhere to these conditions may lead to arrest and prosecution, the notice states. Any static assembly preceding any procession must be located in Parliament Street, and following any procession must be located in Trafalgar Square. The procession must not commence before 14:00. The conditions may be subject to change. Groups taking part, according to the notice, include Pakistan Patriotic Front, World Muslim Federation, Muslim Action Forum, Overseas Pakistan Welfare Council, Jammu Kashmir National Awami Party, (PTA). Pak-born Lord Nazar Ahmad, Pak lawmaker and former head of Jamaat-e-Islami in Pak Abdul Rashid Turabi, leader opposition assembly in Pak and member of the PPP Chachem Yassin, leader of all parties Hurriyat Conference Altaf Ahmad Bhatt and Information Minister of Pak Mushfiq Minhas, are all expected to join in the demonstration. Section 14 of the Public Order Act 1986 is legislation used by police to impose conditions on a public assembly where it is believed serious public disorder, serious damage to property or serious disruption to life of the community may result, or it is believed the organizers of that assembly will intimidate or compel others to do unlawful acts. Under Section 14, a senior officer can specify the location, duration and number of participants of an assembly. Any organizer or person taking part in the protest failing to comply with these conditions or inciting others not to comply with them will be committing an offense and will be liable to arrest. The conditions have been frequently imposed on the Extinction Rebellion protesters in London who have tried to disrupt roads, bridges and public transport on several occasions to raise awareness of climate change.